Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. We have a good show for you today. Los Angeles did not play yesterday, but hey, they did pick up a game on both the Giants and the Diamondbacks, so that was awesome. Oklahoma City, they lost their game. Tulsa won, Great Lakes won, and then Rancho lost in the nightcap, although there was good action in that game. So, hey, not an extremely busy day with LA at the top not playing, but a lot to get to. So before we do all that, though, just a reminder, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily, we have a link to our GoFundMe account in our description. You can click that if you'd like to donate. Also, hey, just keep leaving comments, keep liking these videos, keep sharing these videos, keep spreading the word about Dodgers Daily. Interact with these videos, because when you do that, that helps these videos get suggested, get seen more, and that helps us keep growing where we can keep providing content like this in the future. Okay, so again, the Dodgers did not play yesterday, so this is going to be a farm-heavy show because all the farm affiliates were in action last night. But just to go over some of the numbers as far as the Dodgers, you know, this is the last city in the three-city, 9-game road trip, of which the Dodgers so far are 4-2, which is very good. Just need to win one game in Texas, and that's going to be very difficult to do because this is a very good Texas team. To have a winning road record on this road swing, so you would like to go in there and win 2 out of 3. You have some breaks in terms of, we're going to break some of this down as far as the pitching matchups, and you're not going to have to see the ace, Nathan Eovaldi, and you don't have to face John Gray, who is the third best pitcher for the Rangers. So you're not going to have to face their ace or their number 3, but you are going to have to face their number 2 in Dane Dunning, who has a 2.82 ERA. But it's not the pitching that fuels this Texas team. Although, when you look at the pitching, they are 11th overall in ERA, but their starters have been really, really good. Their starting pitching is good. They're second in ERA in all of Major League Baseball in ERA, but their bullpen has not been. When you look at what their bullpen has done, they are just 25th in ERA as far as whenever you look at relievers being in a game. They're 25th in the major leagues as far as ERA with relievers in the game. So, you know, this is going to be a series to where the Dodgers, it favors the way that they play offense because you're going to want to grind pitch counts. You're going to want to get the Texas starters out of the game as fast as you can. The 3 starters for Texas will be Andrew Heaney. We know all about him. And cool for Andrew Heaney that he's playing for Texas. He grew up in Oklahoma City. I am good friends with his high school coach, Jim Drummond, who coached him there at Putnam City in the Oklahoma City area. Also, Andrew Heaney went to Oklahoma State, so I got to see his entire career there. That was awesome as well, so very familiar with him, and very cool for him that he's playing at Texas this year, just about from Oklahoma City, about a 3-hour drive down to Globe Life Field, what used to be the ballpark in Arlington. So I'm sure he has a lot of family at games that are at home. So you're going to face Andrew Heaney. Gonsolin is. That's a good matchup. Andrew Heaney has a 4.43 ERA on the year. Gonsolin just 3.72. So the first even starting pitching matchups, when you look at what the Dodgers bullpen has done in the last month, especially, you know, since they acquired Ryan Brazier, the Dodgers, you know, at least the way that they've been pitching lately, have the advantage as far as the bullpen goes. But when you look at starters, you would probably think that the Rangers have the starting advantage. But again, remember, you're not facing Nathan Eovaldi. You're not having to face John Gray. And in the first game, Gonsolin has a better ERA than Andrew Heaney. So, you know, hey, from a starting perspective, you have the advantage there, and you already have the advantage as far as the bullpen goes. Saturday, you have bobbymiller, who is going up against Dane Dunning. That is the matchup that heavily favors, as far as when you just look at ERA, the Rangers. But, hey, we all know that bobbymiller, when he is on and when he is, you know, when he's going right, there is nobody more explosive than him. We've seen him go multiple innings without giving up runs. So there is nothing to say that he can't walk out there on the mound Saturday and just completely blank the Rangers, although they are a tremendous offensive team. We'll get into some of that here in a minute. And then Sunday you have Emmetsheehan, who's 491, very even matchup against Martin Perez, who is 484. So, hey, you know, that's one of those deals to where you really need Gonsolin to put a good foot forward tonight. You need him to win this first game for you. You need to grind pitch counts. You need to get into the Texas bullpen. You need Bobbymiller to flash his 100-mile-an-hour stuff, his 5 pitches. You need him to be very, very good. You need to win those first 2 games and then take your chances on Sunday with a very, very talented emmetsheehan and see how things go there. Texas, they are a tremendous offensive team. They're 58-39, first of all. They're in first place in the AL West. It just always seemed weird to me that Texas was in the Western Division of the American League. I always thought they should have been Central. But, hey, how about their offense? They are first in Major League Baseball, not in the National League. In Major League Baseball, first in runs scored. They have scored 564 runs. They are first in on-base percentage. Their on-base percentage as a team is .342, and they have the best batting average in all of Major League Baseball at .274. So they are a very efficient offense, and also it's not like they can't slug. Their OPS is also .804. That's best for second in baseball, and then their slugging percentage by itself is .452, which is also second. So they have an offense that can hit you as far as getting base hits. They have an offense that can figure out a way to get on base. Then they also have an offense that slugs as well. So this is going to be an absolute gauntlet of a test for Tony Gonsolin. And then the 2 rookies over the weekend. It's going to be fascinating to watch. It's going to be fascinating to follow. The Dodgers need to figure out how to, at the minimum, win one of these games, which gives you a winning road record. Not exactly the total goal that you would have set out, but I think, you know, hey, coming back, that probably keeps you in first place. Coming back off of that road trip with the 9 games at home, then the 3 games at San Diego, that's not a disastrous situation. I think if you lost all 3, you would lose a lot of momentum, and you need to pick that back up, like I said, when you came back home. So at the minimum, win 1 and figure out a way to win 2 of these. That puts you at 6-3 on the road trip. That probably puts you still 2 games ahead in the division, if not more than that, over at least one of the 2 between San Francisco and Arizona, if not both. And that would be, you talk about a wildly successful road trip. That would be the definition of it, if you can figure out how to win 2 of those games. But like I said, this is going to be tough. Rangers offense is fantastic. Their starting pitching is fantastic. So if you can hold their offense down, match them, then get to the bullpen, win the games in the late innings, that would be the formula for the Dodgers. So, hey, it's going to be fun tonight. Again, it's Tony Gonsolin on the bump for Los Angeles, so can't wait. So that's our talk on the Los Angeles Dodgers for this show. Time now to transition to a busy show on the farm, so let's not waste any more time. Let's take a trip down the farm. Very good outing for right-hander landonknack, who just recently got promoted to AAA. The thing about his outing the other night was he had 4 pitches going, but the 2 pitches he threw the most, his 4-seam and his slider, he landed his 4-seam in the zone over 60% of the time, and although his 4-seam was only 90-93, which isn't incredible as far as velo goes, with that great spin of averaging 2,300, that makes it to where that ball carries the top of the zone, and that's why the El Paso Chihuahua hitters were hitting the bottom of the baseball. And because of that, on both his 4-seam and his slider, landonknack had an average exit velo of just 83 miles an hour on both those pitches. He also had a good changeup. I say all the time, when landonknack is landing his changeup in the strike zone, there's that good carry, 2,300 spin on the 4-seam. That's why it gets above the barrels of the hitters. We're going to watch this again. I say it all the time about Landon, though. Hey, when he's landing that changeup, it's going to be a tough night. That one right there, because that's the 3rd pitch, and when you can throw 3 pitches for a strike, that makes it very difficult for a hitter. And then he flips in a curveball like he did the other night, just to keep hitters off balance in hitters counts and fastball counts. And because of that, you put all that together, you had 4 scoreless innings, gave up just 3 hits, and had a really nice outing, landonknack. Hunter Fiducia is having a very, very, very good year. He had a couple of base hits in his last game that he caught. I actually went to. the Oklahoma City game last night, and David Freitas caught. He got a base hit as well. So the last game that Hunter Fiducia played in would have been on Wednesday. This is what you're seeing right there. And he had a couple of base hits and knocked in a couple of runs as well, had a couple of RBIs. Let's break down Hunter Fiducia's swing. We got an open face look right there. Here's Hunter right here, the left-handed swing. Good soft load, walking his hands back away from his body there, and then very well balanced. He's getting into his back. Look how his head is slotted. We talked about that the other day with his back hip and then his back knee making a straight line to the ground. So very well leveraged. Back this up just a touch. Let's watch the path of his hands. There is where the barrel comes level. Watch the hands from here. Okay, that bottom hand or that top hand. The bottom hand is, or the top hand, excuse me, is turning that barrel down to the ball. Picture perfect bat path from level, flat right there, to down to the ball, turning the barrel, flat path with the hands. Absolutely perfect. Right here, if you notice, this is called a power L. It looks like the letter L when you have your ankle pointed up to the sky, and then you're able to bend like that. And this is also right here, another power L that they call. Here's another power L as far as terminology in hitting. So there's your three power L's. One right here, one right there, one right there. And if you remember Corey Seager, he used to be able to dive that knee way down here very athletically. Guys like that are just so gifted. This is a little bit taller on the backside, which I really like because it keeps things a little bit flatter, a little bit more simple, and it keeps the head from moving, and it keeps it slotted perfectly. So just a picture-perfect swing for catcher Hunter Fiducia. You're looking at footage from Ryan Pepiot from last night. You know, this was his second rehab outing. His first one was scheduled for 2 innings. This one went 3 innings, and he did not want to come out when he got brought out. No doubt about it. He went his 3 innings. He did give up a couple of home runs, but he is throwing 3 different pitches. His slider, his changeup, and his four seam. His four seam hit as high as 95. He was throwing 3 different pitches for strike 1, and so hey, he came out of it healthy, and he was throwing a lot of strikes. His fastball hit as high as 95, as I said, and he threw it for strikes more than 50% of the time, and the four seam had a whiff rate of close to 40%. So all in all, he did give up a couple of home runs, and he did give up 4 runs in total, which, hey, when you're on rehab stints, you're working on this, you're working on that. It's not about results, it's about getting the feel of certain pitches. So sometimes you get ambushed, not worried about that whatsoever. I know that's no consolation for Pepiot because he is so competitive, but it is a fact. And also, he came out of it healthy. So from the Ryan Pepiot front, everything is on the up and up. So looking forward to seeing how fast he can get back in to the Major League rotation and help the Dodgers at the Major League level. I've made it pretty well known how much I love watching Drew Avens play baseball. Hey, this young man, watch this. He gets an infield base hit, hits the baseball here. Watch it. He beats the pitcher to the back. The pitcher hesitated. I'm going to back that up just a touch. Watch the pitcher hesitate just for a second right here. And he's left-handed, falling off to third base. Hesitate just for a second because of that Drew Avens. No contest. This dude has tremendous speed. So he got that infield base hit, and then Miguel Vargas was hitting in the 2-hole. Vargas actually hit a fly ball right over here, if you can see my cursor, to the foul side. There's the next base hit for Avens, running down first base. Vargas then hit, look, he slid into first base. He actually got called out there. Vargas hit a fly ball that got caught in foul territory down the right field line. Avens actually tagged up and took second base on that fly ball. Then about 5 seconds later, the Padres weren't paying attention, and so he just started running to third base and stole third base while the pitcher was engaged with the rubber and nobody was paying attention. And then the next, about a couple of pitches later, he scored on a ground ball. You talk about getting on, getting over it, and getting in. That was Drew Avens last night. That has been him his entire career. I hope the Dodgers start to see value in this type of player, specifically in him, because I love watching him play. I love watching the sweet swing of Ryan Ward. Old Wardo, that is, you're getting ready to see home run number 11. Right, well, no, he took that pitch. I put the entire bat on here. I like to show you even how guys take pitches, how they track the ball when they take. Right there, see how Wardo, let me back that up just a touch. This is as important as anything that a hitter will do. Okay, watch as he takes this pitch. Watch his head. Well, there's a swing that we saw. Okay, let me back this up just a touch. Watch how he takes this pitch, which is just as important as anything else I mentioned. Watch, his head goes all the way back to the catcher's glove. So he is tracking the ball all the way in, fouls that pitch off, and getting ready to hit home run number 11. Getting a good look at the left-handed sweet swing of Ryan Ward. What I want you to notice here, the first couple pitches are him taking. Watch his head. Tracks the baseball all the way to the catcher. That is so important. That shows you that the hitter, in this case Ryan Ward, is seeing the baseball directly out of the pitcher's hand. Here, he did it again. And he's watching it all the way, as far as he can into the zone, fouls that pitch off. And then because of that, you're getting ready to see him launch home run number 11 on the year. And it was hit. There it is. Boom. Kapow. See you later. Ryan Ward. Home run number 11. Let's go ahead and acknowledge everybody in the bullpen. Let's talk to somebody out in the Budweiser deck, and let's have a dang good time jogging around the bases as you hit home run number 11. 102 off the bat, traveled 408 very happy feet. Ward now has 2 hits, or he had 2 hits last night, which is his 3rd multi-hit game in his last 4, and he has 7 for his last 17 with a home run, a double, 6 RBIs during that span. Going to back that up again. Going to get to see him track pitches one more time. And Wardo this month of July, it's hitting .301, and his OPS this month is over 1,000. So Ryan Ward, I love this young man, one of my favorite offensive players in the system, having a great month here in July. So here's a good open-faced look at Miguel Vargas. Had a chance to actually interview him tomorrow. I will be dropping that interview here before long. I got to cut it up and put it in the can and get it out there on YouTube. That will be available. Asked him a bunch of questions like, hey, how, the adjustments, are you making any adjustments? Or, what is your goal back in AAA right now? All those types of questions. Got those in the can and asked Miguel Vargas. What a wonderful young man. And I'll tell you what, one of the things, kind of like diegocartaya, he is such a shy young man, and he is so humble that he had so much attention thrusted onto his shoulder. Now, that's part of it. If you want to be a Dodger and you want to be in the major leagues, that's just part of it. Here's a look at him from behind. So, just got to learn how to deal with that. But I think it just overwhelmed him a touch. And, come back to a AAA level, get your confidence back. One of the things he mentioned in the interview was, hey, got to get back to being the hitter I always have been, get my confidence back. That's exactly what you're able to do at the AAA level. So, hey, it's good, and some people say, well, yeah, hey, he's a AAA hitter, couldn't prove it at the major league level. I can't, I really don't have anything to say against that, but I will say this, coming back to the AAA level, what he's doing right now, he's resetting himself. This is something that thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Major League Baseball players have done over the years. So everything that he does at the AAA level absolutely matters, because it's setting himself back up to become the player that we all know and think that he'll eventually become. Was super pumped to see left-handed pitcher Alecgamboa, who hit 99 the other night in Sacramento, and got to see it with my own eyes. This young man, hey, again, I'm going to remind you that I mentioned this on the last time that I talked about him. Watch his windup. Very Fernando Valenzuela looking. He has that Fernando Valenzuela vibe, and again, that is intentional. He grew up idolizing Fernando Valenzuela. He grew up a huge Dodgers fan in Madera, California. Just a wonderful young man. He was an all-state wrestler. He was a great football player, one of the best three-way stars of all time in the Madera area, in the Central Valley, as they call it. Went to Fresno State out of high school, transferred to Fresno City to play for Ron Scott, who is one of the best coaches in the history of college baseball, and then got a chance to actually pitch at Dodger Stadium in front of the Dodger scout, just in, just kind of a tryout situation, and went there and absolutely killed it. Got an offer to sign with the Dodgers that he swooped in on very, very fast. There he became a Dodger, and he's been a Dodger ever since. And hey, I'll tell you what, last year, a lot of inconsistencies. Talked to him in the offseason. One of the things he said was, hey, this year needs to be a big year for me. He redevoted himself, and he has had a huge year so far. Coming into last night, his ERA was just 165, whip 098, and his average against was just 149. Good look at 6'7" Mark Washington. He came in actually to finish Pepiot's last inning of work last night and get the last out. Mark Washington, 3.40 ERA, very good slider, very good changeup, and a lot of vert because he's 6'7", so that ball carries really well at the top of the zone, and he's been very good for a very long time. He's been in AAA for over a year. I hope the Dodgers give him a chance. You know, they brought up Nick Robertson. I still think Nick Robertson, you know, I think he did get the back-to-back the games. His last time out, there's a good look at Mark Washington. And, you know, he did give up a run in his second outing, but I think if you gave Nick Robertson good runway to get comfortable, he would show just exactly how good he would be at the major league level. I think Mark Washington is in the same boat. I think he's definitely a major league reliever. I think he's that good. He has that kind of stuff. He's a wonderful young man, super competitive. So ain't nothing not to like about Mark Washington. Dodgers just acquired David Dahl, okay? So I know a lot of Dodgers fans are excited about that pickup, or at least curious about the pickup. That'd probably be the better way to talk about it. So here's a good look at his left-handed swing. Very powerful, very quick, very compact, and he is a good athlete. Here's a good open-face look. Let's go ahead, as soon as we get a swing out of him, let's go ahead and evaluate his swing and see what this thing looks like. Good tracking right there. You can see there's a good swing. Let's go ahead and back that one up and take a look at David Dahl from the open side. There's a good, he really kind of loads with the elbow. Note, instead of taking the hands back, what he does is he takes the elbow up, and when you take the elbow up, that takes your hand back for you. So, you know, hey, some of those guys that say, take your elbow down, leave it up, it doesn't matter. It's different for every hitter. Some hitters trigger with the back elbow, others don't. So David Dahl obviously triggers that back elbow. Look how he loads by lift. I'm going to show you that again. Back elbow list, and as the back elbow lifts, it actually gets the hands in the correct position for him to launch his swing. Gets the foot down right there, okay, and we're going to watch the hands here, okay? Hands travel down. They're right there. We're getting flat. We're in the runway. Hands flat to the ball. Turn the barrel. Lift in the front of the swing. That is just, hey, guys, that's a major league swing. That's how major leaguers swing right there. That's why he's been so good for so long. So there's a good look at David Dahl. Good look at Mike Montgomery. It was a rough night for him last night, but I still wanted to get this video out because he has the big breaking ball, and I wanted you to see it from behind home plate right there. That is a very good pitch. And just a reminder that he has a lot of major league experience. There's a good slider. So you saw his breaking ball and his slider on back-to-back pitches. A lot of major league experience. So, hey, if the Dodgers are ever in the need of, you know, maybe needing a guy for maybe a start, maybe two, and then they can DFA him afterwards, he's probably in the front of the line of that situation. Broke down michaelbusch's swing last time, so we won't do it again here, but here's another open-faced look at him from last night. What a beautiful, sweet swing from him. He played third base last night. He had a hit. His average on the year, 304, OPS 990, so there's a good open-faced look at michaelbusch. So got to see the cutter from left-handed pitcher John Rooney. You know, they moved into a cutter two-seam right there. That's a cutter. That has some depth to it, but he loves that pitch. It's really helped him against righties. There's that cutter again. See how it has just that subtle, tight break, which gets underneath the swing of left-handers. Then he can also throw it to the back door. There's the cutter again. This was the third night in a row that Rooney had to pitch, and it's been over 100 degrees in Oklahoma. Another really good cutter pitch there. So kudos to him. He definitely gets the game ball for going back-to-back-to-back nights and doing a good job for AAA Oklahoma City, John Rooney. AA Drillers pulled out a can last night. Boy, they went all long ball, especially early in the game. This is Diegocartaya. Kapow. Let's go ahead and stop that and see how he got to this baseball. On the outer half, this is a great sign, man. When you're able to pull that pitch right there over the left center field wall. And then what we're also going to see later in the game is he takes an inside pitch to right field. That is absolutely fantastic to see from Diegocartaya. Home run number 12. And then also we're getting ready to see his third double of the season. And like I said, the best part of what he did last night, one was an inside pitch. The other was an outside pitch. He hit one to left field, and he hit the other one to right field. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward that. Watch where the pitch location is right here on his double that he hit right there inside, and he's able to pull his hands inside the baseball, still get the barrel of that ball, and inside out that ball to right field. And when he's hitting like that, pulling the hands inside the ball, watch out, because he is very dangerous. You know, jorbitvivas and Eddie's Leonard, we talked about on Dodgers Dogs. Austin brought up a great point. It seems like they're more imminent to the major leagues than they actually are, because they got put in on the 40-man roster ahead of the 2022 season, and they got put on that because the Dodgers thought there was going to be a Rule 5 draft, and they wanted to protect them from the Rule 5 draft. Then that didn't happen because of the strike, and so, you know, because they've been on the 40-man for, you know, a year and a half now, it seems like they should be getting closer to the major leagues. But actually, they got on they put on that list a year earlier than they would have normally if the Dodgers would have known there was not going to be a Rule 5 draft before that season, then they would probably not have put in Vivas or Leonard on that. They would have waited till probably the beginning, you know, before this last year. So I think, you know, I've had a lot of questions. I think Vivas, Leonard, I think their ETA is definitely at the earliest next year, and I think that would be somewhere in the middle of next year. But hey, Eddie's Leonard has been very hot lately. We're going to talk about him here in just a minute. And jorbitvivas has had just a great season. He had 2 hits last night. He had a couple of RBIs as well, and he has hits in 4 of his last 5 games, 7 of his last 10, and in fact, he has hits in 56 of the 82 games he's played this year, so he's been remarkably consistent. He also has 27 multi-hit games, so he's also been explosive. So consistent and explosive, that's been jorbitvivas. Good to see Yusnieldiaz. If you remember, the Dodgers traded him away in the Manny Machado trade, and he came back this year to the Dodgers, hit a home run in his first at bat back with the organization, and he had 2 hits last night. He was on base 3 times for AA Tulsa. He has multi-hit games, Yusnieldiaz does, in 2 of his last 3, 3 of his last 6, and he's 8 for his last 24 with 4 doubles and 2 home runs. So good to see Yusnieldiaz back with the Dodgers. Good to see him hitting again. So Nick Nastrini got the start last night. He did give up a couple of runs, but the thing about him, he's always had some of the best stuff of any pitcher in all the minor leagues. Look at that nasty slider. He has the great 4-seam. But the thing about him, he's adding, look at that changeup. That is just wicked. But the thing about him, he has gone at least 5 innings in 6 of his and he's got at least 5 innings 5 times in his last 6 starts. So Nick Nastrini, he has added length to the excellent 4-seam, to the excellent stuff that he has. And last night he went 5.1, and like I said, 5th time in his last 6 starts that he's gone at least 5 innings. So the length has been there as well. He's turning into just that bell cow type of pitcher that will be very consistent, give you just about the same thing every time out as far as length goes, and always gives you the ability to completely shut out the other team with his great stuff. And he had 8 Ks last night. So, boy, he, you know, like I said, wipeout stuff, good length to his outings lately, so nothing not to like about where Nick Nastrini is at right now. So Nick Nastrini went to 5 in the 3rd, and so Antonio Knowles had to come in with 1 out in the 6th inning with 2 runners on base, and he came in, check this out. He went at the first hitter, he went with a slider that you just saw, then a perfectly placed 4-seam, and then a perfectly placed cutter, and then 1 out right there. So come in with runners on base, a slider, perfectly placed 4-slot fastball, cutter, then the second hitter, another perfectly placed fastball right there, then 2 cutters in a row. There's 1 cutter right there. Here comes the second cutter, and it is good night, inning over. That is, I cannot even explain to you how skilled that is from Antonio Knowles. That is simply off the charts, especially from a guy that's only at the AA level. You know, he doesn't throw 100 miles an hour, but he has as good a skill as far as being able to pitch as any reliever in the Dodgers organization, Antonio Knowles. The Dodgers got Ricky Vanasco from the Texas Rangers a little while ago. They put Vanasco at the complex. They released him to Tulsa just a bit ago, and boy, he was good last night. 93 to 94 on his fastball. Look at the carry at the bottom of the zone. That left-hander right there just didn't think that was going to continue to be a strike, and that's because of the carry. And then look at the ride at the top of the zone. So, hey, that fastball, obviously, kind of like we were talking about landonknack, 93-94, which is good, but not, just unreal. It's obviously has great spin on it because it's carrying the bottom and riding the top very, very well. And it allowed Ricky Vanasco to strike out the side last night in his one inning of work. That's back-to-back scoreless outings for him. Ricky Vanasco's ERA is just 2.45 this month, so he is coming around. This is the type of pitcher that the Dodgers thought they were going to get when they got him from the Rangers. So it's good to see Ricky Vanasco. Very talented arm, very good stuff. Good to see him rounding into form. My man Ryan Pepiot from Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, he got back on track last night. He has been absolutely fantastic all year long, except for he had one outing where he gave up 6 runs, and that's screwing up his entire ERA, and it's frustrating me because if you just look at ERA, it just doesn't provide any kind of context whatsoever as to the kind of pitcher that he has been this year. Matter of fact, his ERA is like 5.6, but it's all because of the one outing. And let me give you an example. But first of all, let me talk about last night's outing for him. Okay, he threw 18 pitches, 12 for strikes. He had 2 strikeouts out of the 3 outs that he recorded, and he gave up no hits. So here we go. Ryan Pepiot has 17 scoreless outings on the year, and he's allowed 1 run or less 24 of his 27 appearances and still has an ERA over 5. Only and all because of one stinking outing. Other than that, this dude has been absolutely awesome. I say it all the time. Ryan Pepiot is just a fantastic relief pitcher in the Dodgers organization. If you haven't had a chance, go over to the Tulsa Drillers social media and watch Jordan Lees or Jake Pilarski. Those two are very good friends. They both throw heat, by the way, and they were asked to pronounce the towns, some towns in Oklahoma, and they came to Miami, and actually there's a Miami, Oklahoma, but it's actually pronounced Miami, even though it's spelled like Miami. And the funny part of that was Jordan Lee's from Florida, so when they said, hey, no, that's actually Miami, he said, well, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm from Florida, so that's always going to be Miami for me. So, hey, I cracked a joke as far as my post with him today on my social medias. He's a hell of a lot better pitcher than he is somebody who can pronounce names of towns in Oklahoma. So, very, very funny skit. The Drillers did a great job of that. Leisure, hey, man, he is really good. He struck out the side last night. Big heat, 98-99. I love this guy. I talk about how I think he's potential closer material for the future. He is absolutely that good. He has 53 strikeouts in 34 innings. That goes to show you the closer type of stuff. And he has a 3.18 ERA, whip of just 106. So super high on Jordan Leisure. Moving on to the Loons, this is Dalton rushing. Wow, this is dead center. And watch it hit the apartment building there. I don't even think you're going to be able to, that right there, see it? That is unbelievably impressive. Home run number 9 for Dalton rushing. I tell you what, if you're going to give this guy up in a trade scenario, we've talked all about them. I don't think the Dodgers will. It's going to be pricey, and it better not be for a rental. That's where I stand on him because this dude, Dalton rushing, is absolutely awesome. Efrod, another catcher in the Dodgers organization, Frank Rodriguez. He went oppo for his 4th home run of the year. There it is right there. So good look at Frank Rodriguez, Efrod, with his opposite field home run. Kendall Williams is the other starter in the organization other than Tonygonsolin. There, that pitch right there that has a split change, and it is a very, very good pitch. He's mid-90s on his fastball as well, and he had a very good start for High Great Lakes on Wednesday, going 5. He gave up just 1 run on 2 hits, had 4 strikeouts and no walks. Kendall Williams, the young man out of easy for me to say, Olive Branch, Mississippi, transferred to the IMG Academy to finish his college. He got drafted by the Blue Jays. The Dodgers brought him over with Ryan Noda in a trade a couple of years ago. He was injured to start this year, got off the IL, has been pitching very well since he came off the IL. ERA down to 2.08, with just 102, average against of 188 on the year. So keep up the great work, Kendall Williams. Chrisnewell had a couple of doubles. Now, doubles number 14 and 15 on the season. Wednesday for Great Lakes, and he has hits in 5 of his last 6 games, 7 of his last 9, and it's 7 for his last 18 with 3 doubles. 4 runs scored, 10 total bases. So Chrisnewell, the young man out of Virginia. Hey, how about a team at Virginia of Jake Gelov and Chrisnewell and brandonneeck, who is pitching for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes right now? They had all 3 of those guys on the same team. Boy, no wonder they made the College World Series. That is some serious talent. Hey, nothing like getting a game started with a tayloryoung knock right back up the gut and into center field. Hey, it sets the mood. A little bit of a kick-ass into your team just kind of gets you going and get you started, get you some adrenaline, and just kind of gives you that edge to start your day with. That's the kind of table setting that tayloryoung does for a team. That's the kind of leadership he provides, and I'll tell you what, he's really good. He had 2 hits yesterday, tayloryoung did. He's 5 for his last 10. He's 7 for his last 18. And like they always say down in Louisiana Tech, in Bulldog Country, hey, he's just getting started. Kenneth Betancourt had been buried in single-A Rancho Cucamonga for seemingly forever, and it's great to see. So it's great to see him back up with Great Lakes and having, hey, the best part offensively of his career in probably the last 2 or 3 years. He's hitting very well right now. He had 2 hits last night. That's his 3rd multi-hit game in his last 6, and he has hits in 6 games in a row, and he's hitting .349 so far in July. So, hey, it's, like I said, great to see Kenneth Betancourt, one of the most well-respected, well-liked players in the entire system. Kenneth Betancourt. I'll keep it as short as I can, but I could go on and on all day about Max Hewitt. There's an opposite field double. I've seen that. If I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times. Another thing that I've seen a million different times, he plays a million different positions. He was right fielder 2 days ago. DH last night. He's played second base. He's played first base. He's caught. He played shortstop in college. He's played third base. Hey, he's played everywhere. All you really need to do with him, though, that's all good, because just put him somewhere in the lineup, and he will take care of the rest. We called Max Hewitt a mood at Oklahoma State. So make sure you're sitting down when you hear this. This is Ronan Kopp. 99 on the stadium radar gun yesterday. 99. Add him again to the fastballs that are quickly approaching 100 miles an hour. This is why I always say it is not possible to gut this farm system. There's too many great pitchers, too many guys like Ronan Kopp in this organization that are hitting 99, and boy, he has been absolutely fantastic. Ronan Kopp has. He went 3 innings yesterday. He gave up no hits, no runs, so another great outing, and he had 4 strikeouts. ERA of 2.92, but kind of like I was talking about with Ryan Sublette, it's all because of one outing, which was 2 outings ago. But other than that, he has been just absolutely dominant. Try this on for size. Ronan Kopp has allowed 1 run or less 14 times this year, and he's allowed 2 runs or less all but 1 of his starts this year. That is total domination for Ronan Kopp. And again, he hit 99 yesterday. I also have it confirmed that Jermingrosario hit 99 again. Add him again to the list of guys that are almost throwing 100 miles an hour. Jermingrosario that you're seeing right here, 99 on the stadium gun. I got that directly from Austin Brubaker, who was at the game with his grandpa yesterday. What an awesome deal that is. I'm sure those two had just a wonderful time watching the darts that Jermingrosario was throwing to home plate. And by the way, Rosario went 4 strong innings. He gave up no runs, so the Loons used that piggyback system with Ronan Kopp throwing 3, then Rosario throwing 4. And Rosario gave up no runs and had 4 strikeouts. Got the win. Rosario's now 4-2 on the year, and he's allowed just 3 earned runs in his last 23.1 innings. So well done, Jermingrosario. Add another guy to the list. That's at 99. So get comfortable. You're going to want to watch this part of the show as far as I'm concerned, because you're getting ready to see a whole bunch of guys that have never been covered on Dodgers Daily, and I'm super, super pumped about it. This is Simonreid. I think I actually have covered him maybe once, maybe twice, not very much. Simonreid is a young man that was originally out of California, moved to McKinney, Texas for his high school days, then went to Westmont College in the Los Angeles area, and then got drafted by the Dodgers in the 2022 draft as a catcher. Another one of the just unbelievably talented catching prospects in the system. Trust me, this guy has huge talent. And one thing, as I back this up, one thing I want you to see, watch as he sets up. Let me pause this and back it up. Okay, first of all, he's a catcher, and so he throws right-handed and hits left-handed. That's a dead giveaway that somebody in his background is a very good baseball person. Now, what I want you to watch is his eyes. See how both eyes are on the baseball? And watch as the ball comes in, both eyes still on the ball. Both eyes still on the ball. Both eyes still on the ball right there. So he uses both eyes to hit the baseball with. That's going to increase his depth perception. And as I back that up, also watch how deep he's able to hit this baseball. Right, look how deep that ball is. That is a very deep ball that Simonreid hit. That's very deep in the zone, and he's able to do that because he tracks the ball so well, because he has such great depth perception, because he is using both eyes to track the baseball with. That is just elite mechanics. That's elite. Just a hitting process for Simonreid. So add him to the list of super talented catchers out of the 2022 draft. Simonreid. How about Wilman Diaz? I know he's all over the Dodgers top 30 prospects list, and people have been wondering how he's been doing. He struggled a little bit offensively last year, but boy, he got brought up to Rancho Cucamonga here just this month, and he has absolutely taken Rancho by storm. He had 3 hits on Wednesday. He had back-to-back 3-hit games, 3 multi-hit games in his last 4, and he's 9 for his last 18 with a double, 2 triples, and 4 runs scored. And he's also hitting .600, OPS 1700 since being called up to Rancho. So there you go. Hey, this is the first time I've had a chance to cover Wilman Diaz. He is a very excitable player. Look at him. I love the fun that he has playing. I talk about all the time, play with emotions, but don't be emotional. That is Wilman Diaz. He's having fun. He's having, just emotionally positive experiences, even in failure, and that gets contagious for everybody around you, especially when you have the kind of energy and hustle that he brings combined with his talent. He just loves playing. He loves playing hard. He loves playing the game properly. So, hey, first look at Wilman Diaz as far as on Dodgers Daily, and a good one, and super excited about his future. Here's another first, Luis Guerra, a 19-year-old from Venezuela who plays middle infield and outfield as well. So another one of those guys that can hit for power, hit for average, and then also has defensive versatility. Luis Guerra was signed in 2021, brought up to Rancho like Wilman Diaz beginning of July. Look how he takes his hand to the ball. I'm going to back that up. Watch how he uses his hands. He's not a lower half hitter. He is a hands hitter. He's not worried where his knees are at, where his hips are at. Look at his lower half. He's not worried where his back foot's at. He's not worried about any of that. You know what he's worried about? He's worried about taking his hands and using his hands to get the barrel properly to the baseball right there. And I love that because that doesn't go into slumps. You're not just required to be perfect on every single swing that you have. So very compact, very good swing, uses the hands very well, Luis Guerra. Here's one that we have become accustomed to seeing, Josue de Paula. 2 hits, knocked in a couple for the Quakes. De Paula has hits in 7 games in a row, 11 of his last 12, and he also has 7 multi-hit games in his last 12 games played, and he's 20 for his last 49. That's a .408 average with 3 doubles, 6 RBIs, 12 runs scored, and 26 total bases. So Josue de Paula, he is living up to the billing of being just a great player. Jorge Puerta, another catcher in the organization that has versatility. He had a couple of hits for Rancho on Wednesday. He's on base 3 times, 6 for his last 13, 2 doubles, 3 multi-hit games in his last 6. Another one of those guys that's very good, that can catch, can play the infield, can play the outfield, do a little of everything, can hit some home runs, hit for average. Jorge Puerta. Like many of the power arms in Rancho, when LeRon Reynoso is in the strike zone, it is lights out. He has some of the best Swing and miss strikeout. Look at that four-seam up in the zone. He comes right at hitters. Him and Yoel Ibarra. I love watching these guys pitch because they have just such commanding stuff. No fear. They come right at hitters. Just 33 pitches in 2 innings for Livan Reynoso on Wednesday through 18 strikes. Had 4 strikeouts, no hits. As a matter of fact, Livan Reynoso has 52 strikeouts in 40.1 innings. So that's kind of what I've alluded to, that his stuff is very much so swing and miss stuff. That's in its 14 scoreless outings this year. Very much so strikeout stuff. Very much so swing and miss stuff. Livan Reynoso. This is Liam Doolan, 24-year-old out of Australia. You got to love this story. Recorded his 3rd save on Wednesday for Rancho Cucamonga. Through 2 scoreless innings, gave up just 1 hit. This is his 2nd scoreless outing in a row. Again, all you got to do is look at him to see the big frame, big slider, and I want to show you, I'm going to back that up. Watch this slot right here. Okay, definitely very tall, so you're getting the vert, but look how athletic. That's Nolan Ryan looking right there, dragging that back knee along the ground. So obviously, although he has the huge frame, he is super, super athletic with his lower half, and then also the 3/4 slot. So when you look at the amount of power that he's getting with his lower half, driving that back knee, the back hip, his butt to the catcher, and then you also add in a 3/4 slot here, which is going to give good cut on his ball like that right there. Let me back that. Watch this cutter. Boom. Great pitch, and it's so effortless for him. I mean, that is just absolutely easy power for Liam Doolan, the 24-year-old out of Australia. Hey, how about Brandonneeck, man? We talked about him and Jake Geloff, who the Dodgers just drafted, power hitting first baseman, third baseman, mainly a third baseman. I slided it when I said first base. He is a third baseman. He may work some at first base as well, just to add versatility. But you talk about Brandonneeck, Jake Geloff, and chrisnewell all on the same Virginia Cavalier team. No wonder the Wahoos made the World Series in 2022. Neek, this is a very talented left-hander. Great control, plus good strikeout stuff. That's a great combination. 23 years old, drafted in the 9th round out of Virginia. So, hey, there's a good look. First time that we have covered Brandonneeck on Dodgers Daily. If the terminology, last but not least, ever applied, it is in this situation. This is Reinaldoyean, 100. We talked about jermingrosario, Ronan Kopp, 99. Reinaldoyean, 100. And watch this pitch. Hey, I actually messaged his pitching coach, Ramon Contrecoso, and I asked him, because I'd never seen Yean with my own eyes, does he have a 2-seam, or is that just a natural tail in his 4-seam? Watch this. Boom. Look at that tail. I'm going to back it up one more time, and I want you to watch the tail that he gets moving to the arm side. Man, that's 100 miles an hour, probably with horizontal break right there of about 20 inches. That is just absolutely insanely talented arm talent. That is super impressive. Reinaldoyean, I was blown out of the water the first time I got to see him pitch. This guy is really, really good. So, hey, check it out for yourself on my social medias. I have a little bit more on him. Not unexpectedly, seeing this stuff with 100 mile an hour and the arm side fade to his 4-seam. He has 22 strikeouts and 11.2 innings, and his average against just 116. So he strikes a lot of guys out. Guys don't get very many hits off of him, and he hits triple digits. So there's a good look at Reinaldoyean. So there you have it. I'm exhausted. Man, that was a busy show. Lots to get to. Lots of live action from Oklahoma City. Nick Nastrini, good action there. And then all the great action at Rancho. Tayloryoung, and then Ronan Kopp and jermingrosario, and all of the great performances there has been. So, man, that was a busy show. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tune in. The next time you're going to see me is going to be tomorrow morning with Austin. We are going to bring you our mailbag. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to leave a comment, like this video, interact with this video, so it meets that YouTube algorithm, gets seen and suggested more often. Also, just a reminder, we do have the link to our GoFundMe account in the description if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily. By clicking that link, it'll take you right to where you could donate. As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and say, Go Dodgers!